Hey, what's going on, horror fans? Kiko back with another video. Pinky wants to say hi. Yeah? Can you say hi? Yeah, that's about all you're gonna get? Okay. Yeah, welcome back. This is gonna be Ease Part 2, along with various others. First up, so I have a B called Blackwater Valley Exorcism. This was one of those really cheapies I found in a bargain bin. It really wasn't anything that amazing. I don't really remember this one. I'll have to rewatch it. And I have a C. This one was awesome. Called Cheap Thrills. Really enjoyed this one. Just a real black comedy, man. Little horrific elements here and there. Just how far will you go for kicks, basically. I love this alternate cover art as well. That's awesome. Yeah, if you want to see a really fucked up movie and have a really good time watching it, I would recommend Cheap Thrills. This one really was great. Really good actors in this one too. Really enjoyed that one. Yep. You like Cheap Thrills too? Yeah, you're gonna be shy. Okay. And then got some D's I totally forgot about for the dark half. I actually had this on VHS too somewhere. It has a better cover, but I like this movie. Based on the book by Stephen King. One of George A. Romero's, one of his more underrated films, I think. I think it's actually a really good film. The character of George Stark really is a memorable character. He drives that really badass hopped up car. Kills people brutally. The sparrows are flying again. I enjoyed The Dark Half. That was a good movie. Then we have Dark Real. This one I watched recently, and I still couldn't decide whether I liked it or not. There were things I liked about it, and there were things I disliked about it. I'm not the biggest Edward Furlong fan, but I love Lance Hendrickson, Tony Todd, and of course Tiffany Shepis. And anyone who's been watching me this long knows what I feel about Tiffany Shepis. She's definitely my horror honey. That's why I had to watch this one. Yeah, it was pretty good. I didn't mind it. I've seen worse. Ghost House Underground, we have Dance of the Dead. Kind of one of those just fun teen horror type movies. Good zombie movie. I thought it was pretty fun. Wasn't so bad. This movie was badass. From Full Moon Entertainment, we have Dead and Rotting. This also includes the movie Stitches, which I don't think I've ever seen. But yeah, Dead and Rotting is a great movie. It's a good movie about witchcraft. This witch puts a hex on these three guys, and their life pretty much falls apart. And the beautiful Debbie Rochon turns from an old hag into Debbie Rochon, and she seduces these men and kills them brutally. I actually really enjoyed this one. It's an early Full Moon film, but really good. Dead and Rotting. I'd recommend that. And of course, any Debbie Rochon fans, she's definitely a scream queen. We have Betty Davis and Dead Ringer, an older one, but a really good one. If you only know her, whatever happened to Baby Jane, she's great in that, but man, she really is good in this too. There's two twins, one evil and one good, and one is accused of murder, and it's just a really good story. Kind of a bit of a split personality too, but there are two Betty Davises in this, which is really cool. Really enjoyed this one. Dead Ringer. Can't go wrong with little Betty Davis. And from Unearthed Classics, we have The Dark Side of the Moon. I think in my last update I had Event Horizon. This movie is a little similar, where it's a ship in the middle of space. It's pretty much possessed by evil, and this crew goes on board to see what's going on, and what's going on is not very nice. But yeah, I'd recommend The Dark Side of the Moon for sure. That's a great movie. If you're a fan of Event Horizon and those kinds of atmospheres, alien atmospheres, if you will, I think you'll like this one. And my phone died last time, I apologize. Getting into The Exorcist. So I'll talk a little bit about The Exorcist, and definitely rest in peace, William Friedkin. He definitely was a genius, a cinematic genius, and deserves nothing but the respect. Wasn't the nicest guy to his actors. Definitely the making of this movie will attest to that. But The Exorcist is just such a classic. He knew what he wanted, and he knew how to get it, and he always achieved his goal of bringing the best out of his actors, and just everything about his films are just so timeless. And if you want to, and I watched a really cool documentary recently on William Friedkin. It's a Shudder original called Leap of Faith. And I would highly recommend this documentary if you want to learn more about this great film and this great director. Still can't believe he passed away recently, but this really is a cool send-off to the man and his work. I know it's kind of cheating, but I figured it'd be appropriate because I really enjoyed this documentary. And Exorcist is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. I got like a really cool, really creepy picture up there. Yeah, Exorcist all around. Yeah, can't go wrong with Reagan or Linda Blair as The Exorcist. Those are just classic images that you'll never forget if you're a horror fan. But yeah, The Exorcist. I wanted to go a little bit more in depth in that because my phone died last time. And this is actually one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I gotta talk about it. And that is The Evil Dead, the original, the best, never duplicated. I did like the remake, yes, but the original is where it's at. Just such a horror film that was ahead of its time. As far as cinematic elements go, the way it was filmed, just unbelievable in every sense of the word. One of my favorite horror films of all time. Right after Jaws, I would say. This one's right up there. And Evil Dead, this version is really cool. You get the One by One Will Take You documentary, and then you get the Ladies of Evil Dead. That one's really cool. Sam Raimi definitely was a genius making all these. Well, he didn't make really too many horror films, I guess, but The Evil Dead definitely is his benchmark, I would say. I did like Drag Me to Hell as well, but nothing compares to Evil Dead. I am a huge Evil Dead fan. It's kind of a cool poster. Massive Evil Dead fan, and Evil Dead is such a huge influence on extreme metal too. I mean, for example, you got Necrophagia, Season of the Dead, the song Ancient Slumber, and you have Black Blood Vomitorium, It Lives in the Woods, and then to complete the trilogy, Death Trip 69. I forget the name of the song offhand, but Mortician did homages to him, and just Evil Dead is just the ultimate metal movie as well. Of course, solidified Bruce Campbell as a star as well. He's just a household name. But can't talk enough about Evil Dead, and I definitely would highly recommend this edition if you can still get it. I know it's got many editions, but I always like this Ultimate Edition. Really cool. kind of a revenge movie called The Eves. I tried watching this movie and I fell asleep twice. It really is not that great. I really did not care for any of the characters in this movie. I really did not care. I guess I'll rewatch it at some point. But this movie's always been one of my favorites. An English Haunting. I always adored this movie. I love the atmosphere of this film. It's just unbelievable. The director is Charlie Steeds, and he also did The Barge People and Skinwalkers, I believe. But the atmosphere is just unmatched in this movie. Really creepy imagery, and just the acting is really good too. Really good English Haunting. I definitely would recommend that one. Definitely a good example of modern horror for sure, that really can still pack a punch. There's a little alien movie called The Encounter. I actually really enjoyed this one too. This actually was really good. Kind of really good alien abduction movie. A found footage film, I'm not the biggest fan of them, as you know, but this one was pretty well done, I thought. And the aliens look really badass. Kind of a creepy film too. I mean, if you're at all a fan of like Fire in the Sky and Communion, stuff like that, with a found footage twist, I think you'd enjoy The Encounter. Really good alien movie. This movie I had sitting on my shelf for the longest time. I just watched it for the first time. It's called The Ecstasy of Isabel Mann, and man, it actually really was pretty damn surprised. It actually really was good. It's pretty much a vampire film, modern vampire movie about this killer family of vampires. Really enjoyed this one. This was kind of one that kind of slipped through the cracks, and not a lot of people know about it, but I would give The Ecstasy of Elizabeth Mann a try. You might like it. Here it got some crazy Asian batshit crazy shit here. Evil Dead trap. Man, there's so much going on in this movie. It starts off as like, you know, kind of a snuff film investigation, then it escalates into like the supernatural territory and demonic territory, and then it just throws a bunch of Argento at you. I mean, it's kind of like a Japanese version of an Argento film, really. It even has a little bit of a giallo feel to it in parts. And the score actually kind of reminds me a little bit of even a Goblin from Suspiria a little bit. But yeah, Evil Dead Trap is awesome. I would recommend that from Synapse Films. That was a good release. A while back I had a movie about the Red Ripper case, the Andre Ciccatello killer, and this one's sort of based on it too. It's called Evil Inco, but Malcolm McDowell in the role of Andre Ciccatello, even though that's not what he's called in this movie. But this is a really good movie. It's a really disturbing movie too, about how fucked up that guy really was, the Russian serial killer, cannibal, just child torturer. He really was a horrible person. But Malcolm McDowell plays him so pitiful, kind of like Steve Earlsback and Ed Gein. Like, you kind of pity him a little bit because he's so pathetic. But yeah, Malcolm McDowell is one of my favorite actors as well, and he was really great in this film. I'd recommend that one. Also, if you're a true crime buff and you know the Andre Ciccatello case. And you know, I'm a fan of the Blind Dead films, obviously. So I was really surprised when this was released by Wild Eye Raw and Extreme Erotic Nights of the Blind Dead. I enjoyed it. It was really cool seeing those old Templars coming out of their graves again. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. This movie was... I think it's D'Osorno's son, I believe, had a hand in this film as a tribute to his old man, which is really cool. It's not the greatest, but it's not the worst. If you're a fan of the Blind Dead films at all, I think you should check it out. Really had those... It's nothing like seeing the Templars riding on their horses and killing people. It's great. This was a really awesome movie from Canada, I believe. It's called End of the Line. I've always been a fan of this movie. A creature feature in a subway. Yeah, it does what Subways, what Jaws did for Oceans, I agree. Really, really great film here. Definitely one that needs more love, needs to be seen more. Really great atmosphere with the underground and the train. And these little creepy little creatures, man, these are great. Excellent film, End of the Line. If you're a fan of raw meat, I think you'll dig that one. Eaters, Ulai Bowl. Oh boy, yeah, I've never seen it, so I can't say. It's like a zombie movie, Eli Bull style. I don't know, could be a hit or a miss. I have no idea. I guess I'll watch it at some point. Exorcist 2: The Heretic. This movie gets a lot of shit. It's not as good as the first one. Damn sure ain't as the third one. But I don't know. It does have a certain charm to it. Definitely nothing to write home about, but you know, Exorcist 2: The Heretic. Gotta be a completist. There's a little modern exorcism film. Exorcismus. Sismus. I really enjoyed this one from IFC Midnight. They always put out great product. This was an awesome movie. Really cool demonic possession scenes in this. Really good acting. I'd recommend that one. Never heard anyone even talk about that one, but it was really good. The Evil in Us. This movie looks like it would be really cool, but it's got good gore effects, I'll give it that, but the acting is not the greatest, and really, I don't really like any of the characters in this movie. I really was not that impressed. RLJ always puts out pretty good shit, and this movie's not bad, I'm not knocking it, but it doesn't really do anything for me. It was just kind of like a, I don't know, it was alright. Fangoria Presents Entity. I always like these Fangoria Presents. They did one called Axe, and they did Germ Z. Inhuman Resources. They put out some pretty cool shit. Entity was good. It's a good Russian ghost story. Haunted asylum type movie. I really enjoyed this one. Right up there with like Session 9 or something. It's really good. Did make a good bill with Session 9, I believe. But Entity, that was a really good one. Here's a gory batshit crazy called Evil. Yeah, this one actually was pretty cool. It wasn't the greatest zombie movie in the world, but it definitely delivers on the gore, and some of the acting is pretty admirable. Not bad. Severed limbs and buckets of gore, bring them up. Yeah, it was a pretty fun one. Episode 50. You know, there's so many of these types of Paranormal Activity ripoff movies, but this one actually really was good. I remember enjoying this one. I actually kind of creeped out in spots. I would recommend this one if you're a fan of Paranormal Activity type movies and ghost adventure shows and stuff like that. Episode 50. That was pretty damn good. I enjoyed that one. Evidence of a Haunting. Search for Spirits of the Dead. This is another example of pretty damn good. I was actually really impressed. The Brain Damage films, they're always a hit or a miss, and I probably have more hits from them than misses, really, and this one really was good. The acting was really good. I really liked the behind-the-scenes feature. They really had a lot of fun making this incredibly low-budget movie, but really, it was pretty damn good. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend Evidence of a Haunting for sure. Pretty good gore in that one, too. Extraterrestrial. This one was awesome. This was a really good alien abduction type film. Really enjoyed this one. Really good gore, really good story. Kind of creepy, man. Like, if aliens are really like that and they're out to get us, yikes. Kind of makes you think. This one was a fucking charm. Exorcism, The Possession of Gil Bowers. Wow, this one really was awesome. This is like Exorcist X-rated. Like, I really enjoyed this one. This one really was cool. From the Asylum, they definitely are hit or miss, and I have more misses from them, but their earlier shit was actually pretty good that they put out, and this one was really good. There's another one called Halloween Night I liked a lot. That one was a lot of fun. But Exorcism, The Possession of Gil Bowers, that really was a great possession, Exorcist type ripoff. Even kind of got the Amityville type house in the background. That was a really good one. If you're at all a fan of the Exorcist and possession films, I'd highly recommend that one. Chemical Burn presents The 11th Aggression. I really like this one as well. Kind of like a hippie ex-Vietnam vet going around killing people that really piss him off. Like, you do not want to piss this guy off. Like, you don't want to piss him off on the road. Like, there's some brutal shit that happens in this. I enjoyed the 11th Aggression. That was really good. Chemical Burn puts out some good shit. They had one called Crowbar. That one was good. But yeah, I'd recommend the 11th Aggression. Definitely does not happen like on the cover, but it's a good movie. Ooh, we got some Jesse Franco goodness here. The Erotic Rites of Frankenstein. Oh, what a classic. I love Jess Franco. The guy he worked with what he had, he knew what he wanted, he knew how to get it, and he just didn't give a fuck how he got it. Just a great film, great monster creature feature, a lot of eroticism, obviously, with Jess Franco. I believe he was called the most dangerous director in Spain at one point. Great film. I was a fan of Jess Franco. Erotic Rites of Frankenstein, right up there with Female Vampire. We got two more here before my phone dies again. Really sick movie called Excess Flesh. This one really, really is disgusting, guys. If you want to see, like, eating disorders, girls puking in toilets because they can't hold their food, and they want to watch their figure. Really good, really great story, original story concept of this model who is pretty much abusing her friend that she's living with. That's living with her and calling her fat and everything, and she pretty much gets the last laugh, chains her to the bathroom, and just tortures the shit out of her. Really interesting concept for kind of like a I'll get you back type horror. Really good movie. Excess Flesh. Really disgusting imagery though. Like this and the movie Feed would make a good double feature, but you probably would lose your lunch. Just saying. Great films though. Alright, and I have one more film for you. Hopefully I can get this up for the... And I just got done watching this too, because this movie's been sitting on my shelf for the longest time. And I mean the longest time, like ever since I got it. And I never gave it a chance until recently, and I'm really glad. It was a really, really fun, awesome creature feature called Eyes of the Woods. And I don't know about you, man, but that fucking creature on the cover just sold me right there. And that creature is actually in this movie, and you get really good screen time with it. It's brutal, it's belligerent, it just rips the shit out of people. Really great gore effects. Acting is pretty good. There's one guy I can't stand, but there's always that in the horror film, you know. But the actresses that were in peril were really good. Really good atmosphere with this movie, too, in the woods, obviously. Really low budget, but really, really commend them for making this really great film. And, yeah, it's in the tradition of the Evil Dead and Jeepers Creepers. Like, if you're at all a fan of creature features, I'd even throw a little bit of Pumpkinhead in there, too, with the whole revenge concept. It's really got a really good original story too. This guy basically trying to avenge the death of his daughter, and he makes like a pact with Satan and turns into this demon and just for centuries haunts these woods and just rips anybody apart that comes near. It actually really was this pleasant surprise. Really enjoyed Eyes of the Woods. That actually really was a damn good movie. Alright, so there you go. That was part 2 of the E's. I hope you all enjoyed that. I'll have another video at some point when I get a chance. Hope you all enjoying this. Want to say goodbye? There you go. Yeah? You telling a story? Alright guys, thanks a lot for watching. Skid Gore. Gore forever.